It's a beautiful day here in the Central Valley. My name is Cody, and this is my father, Chris. And you guys blew up his last video when he went over his 1957 Willys wagon. We've done so much to it since then, and we want to show you all the things that we've done. If this is your first time seeing it, don't forget to check out his previous videos. And also, if you go on Facebook and go into some of the Willys forums, you can find some of the posts there to help guide you with your project. All right, Chris, walk us through this.
Well, since the last video, we put it on the BFG mud TAs that we had sitting on the side of the house. Snapped on the original bumpers. We didn't go as far as getting them re-chromed. Weren't sure we were going to stay with them or if we were going to build custom bumpers. I kind of like keeping it looking stock. I mean, that was kind of the idea behind building this, is that make it look like a factory ride, but obviously it has different drivetrain, motor, and chassis. So it is on a different chassis, which is a 79 Cherokee Chief, which is the two-door wide tracks. Went that way because A, it was cheap, B, it came with everything I needed. It had the Dana 44 axles, it had the gearbox for the steering bolted right on there, and I paid $500 for the whole thing. So that being said, the factory splash pan that goes here is too short, doesn't fill the whole gap. Steering gearbox is kind of in the way, so I will either modify that or just come up with something different. Maybe put a winch on there and not put any splash guard, but I think I do like the look of the factory bumpers. It keeps it looking like a stock ride. So we'll probably end up getting those re-chromed and fitted on there a little bit better. As I said, the 79 Cherokee Chief is the spring under on the front, spring over the axle on the back. If I had to do it again, I would probably make it spring over, just because I don't like having that much of an arch. That is a Skyjacker 4-inch lift kit. Probably could have it be a little bit softer. But that being said, I did keep one of the badges off the back of the Cherokee Chief, just as a nod to I am rolling on that frame. The wheels are just Indy mags, so the classic slotted mags, which are from the 60s and 70s. A lot of wagon owners definitely put their rides on slotted mags. Because it is a different frame, my bumper brackets didn't match up quite in line with the rear of the frame. That took some surgery, but we made it fit. It looks good on there. The dual exhaust comes and tucks right behind each of the wheels.
Okay, in our last video, we did not run this vehicle, so you guys are going to be able to hear what it sounds like. My dad's going to walk you guys through the exhaust system he used and the headers that we're using on our 5.7 liter Vortec V8.
Yeah, so for the headers that I got, they were made here in California. It's Sanderson headers, and they are ceramic coated. It is a true dual exhaust. I did not do the catalytic converters because who needs those? Chose to go with MagnaFlow mufflers, just based on the fact that they are a little bit quieter than, let's say, a typical Flowmaster or something else. So I'm really impressed. The car is dynamated. It's got insulation all throughout it, but combined with the exhaust and the muffler choice, it is quiet on the inside, unless of course you're standing on it, and then you will hear the exhaust open up. I mean, there's no mistaking it. This is the V8, but both tips pointing out to the side. So
all right, let's take a look at this interior that you have.
Black, all black, which that choice is kind of made for me. I found these seats for $100 a piece. They were brand new out of a Cadillac, and they are fold-in tumble seats, so that makes it easy access to get into the back.
Okay, so in the forum, a lot of people were asking which gauges we used.
Speed Hut. Yep.
And if I recall correctly, there's different color combinations, right?
Yes, you can choose different face styles. You can make it orange, you can make it blue, you can change the light colors, but that's all up to you. You order that. So I chose kind of a indigo blue colored gauge. You turn it on, the gauges, the needles will sweep once, and you're up and going. My dash, I kept looking pretty stock. I added these two, but beyond that, this was very unmolested and very original looking. This should have been chrome. And I had it painted just because it was so pitted. So, but all my lights work. You know, my turn signals, they're in there. The brake light, the engine light, the four-wheel drive light pops on when it goes in. All right, so since I wanted to keep the dash looking original, I wasn't gonna put a stereo down here above the steering column. I went ahead and built this out of plywood. It's just one plane moving this way and another plane going straight up and down. That comes and kind of tucks on this shelf right here, and then it bolts into the header piece. I created these cubbies right here, so I thought, you know, I keep my phone up in here. It's plugged into the Apple CarPlay, and I have a small amp, a little Class D amp here. It takes up the space over here, but all the speaker wires that come from the back run along the top of the vehicle and come to this point right up here where I have the amp and the stereo head. But it's nice, you know, your text, your phone calls, Apple CarPlay, so it keeps you hands-free while you're moving along. And then, you know, you just get some fabric from Hobby Lobby or Joann's Fabrics, and I just wrapped it, stapled it around the back, and yeah, so the upholstery guys who put my headliner in had a fun time trying to get the headliner in here, but yet leaving it kind of loose so that when this pushes in there, it's the thing that drew it all tight. But I did put in, I added a lot of extra lights in here beyond the original glass one.
And you guys can actually see how the lights were mounted back in our previous video when we had no headliner in, just the insulation. This whole roof is insulated, and so are the door panels and just the sidewalls.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so these seats are out of a second row of an Escalade. What is the rear seat?
Thank you. Nah, not many people would spend the time to restore them at all, so yeah, that's all right.
So the third seat's out of a Dodge Durango.
Yeah, I believe like a late 90s. Which again, those are fold and tumble seats too, and then they lay relatively flat.
Are you able to tumble this seat where you're you're at?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, let's see. From where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay. You film?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how I release the seat from where I'm sitting at. Once, twice, and just like you're used to, that's how you climb into.
And the best part is that it doesn't even come close to the dash.
Yeah.
So
they have a little strong arm in there.
All this room to get inside.
Yep.
My dad's proudest moment is just these little tiny bicycle cup holders.
Yeah. Just use the existing screw holes in that little pillar and that C pillar, and screwed them in there.
And I'm 6'1", and I have plenty of leg room when the seat is down. You want to fold the seat down?
Yeah. Let's put her back down.
Plenty of leg room. My knees don't even come close to the seat. Speaker in that panel. And this is what it looks like from the back.
Yes, sir. Lights out. Okay. Alrighty, so for the motor, I had a 98 Chevy Silverado truck laying around that had low miles on the motor, so we pulled that. It is just a 350, 5.7 liter Vortec motor. It's all stock on the inside, and it, you know, it pulls. You know, this vehicle is not that heavy. But I gotta say, you know, I had next to no problems with it in here.
So this is the Champion radiator. What do you think of it so far, with it being an electric radiator, or having an electric fan?
I like it. I need to put in the proper switch that turns it on when it reaches at the right temperature. Right now I just have a manual switch in there, as I noticed that it starts to run a little bit warm in the summertime. I manually turn it on, but I do have plans to add another temperature switch on this head over here. Changed out the vacuum wiper motor and went with the electric one. I never drive it in the rain.
Looks neat.
Yeah.
And then what did you use to line the inner fender?
Oh, that's just like the roll-on bed liner. I think it was oh gosh, I forget the name. Herculiner.
Herculiner.
Yeah, so once the metal was all stripped down, or the paint was stripped down and it was all cleaned up, rolled on a Herculiner and then put paint. I think I put POR paint right over the top of the Herculiner after it dried. It's a poor man's bed liner.
And it does pretty good against the heat. It's a little bit discolored over here because brake fluid ate it away. So
everyone's experiencing it.
And then the whole bottom of this wagon is covered in Herculiner. It's in the black. And then
at the bottom. Yes,
the axles and the frame are all painted with POR, paint over rust. We'll have a link for all of these products down in our description. If you guys don't feel comfortable clicking the links, we will have a part number for you available. All right. Well, I know that a lot of these people are waiting for us to fire it up and drive it.
Sure.
We'll go to the back so you guys can hear it. This is not a cold start, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that smile.
Send me a smile.
All right, let's get this thing on the road and show you guys what it looks like going fast. All right, so one of the things that we didn't really touch over was the comparison between using this frame compared to the K5 frames that you guys see most commonly used on these kinds of swaps. In the rear, there's not much of a gap between the body and the frame itself. It makes it just look more sleek and more attractive. It's not as noticeable. Also, the front axle is much wider and it provides a lot more stability. So those are the two pros. And it already came with the Dana 44 axles, which we liked. So we're gonna do some rollers and end this video off with the bang. Fun.